thinking work and using the concepts that we had learned. Look for ways to do that. Because we're back to this connecting the class to the real world. We're looking for you to be curious and engaging. And again, it's all about building that relationship. Students love to know that what they're learning in your class, whatever it is, will make a difference for them, not only on the test. I hate that question. On the test? No, it's not. I'm teaching because I think it's goofy. Of course it might be on the test. Everything I teach might be on the test. Oh, I hate that question. But I understand where it comes from, because students are trying to prioritize. But help them ask them, well, and sometimes I would say, well, why would it be on the test? If you were going to put it on the test, how would you put it on the test? Oh, they hate that. I've actually had classes in which students write the test for me. They give me test questions, and I have some of my own, of course, but I'll use their questions on the test. I always learn something. Building the relationship. It is the most important piece of advice that I can give you. Make them do some of the heavy lifting. Set your expectations that they need to come prepared, that they have baskets. Respect what's in their baskets. Check. Share information. You will learn as much from them on some days as they will from you. If we're willing to admit that as professors, sometimes that's hard. Because we have egos. But I think you'll find it a worthwhile endeavor. We do have a website. It is activelearning, all one word, .uta.edu. That is still our current website for the Active Learning Initiative. And if you don't remember, just Google Active Learning. And if you really don't remember, you can always contact me. I am DJ Silva at uta.edu. Just remind me that I was here, you were here. I'll point you in the right direction. This website's going to start morphing into a new place because it was announced a couple of months ago that we will be instituting a brand new Center for Teaching and Learning Excellence on our campus. We don't have a teaching center. I will be the administrator who has the privilege of overseeing and building that center. I am in the process of hiring a director for the Center for Teaching and Learning Excellence, and one of the requirements is that director must be a tenured professor here at UT Arlington with clear recognition for teaching excellence. So I take this very, very seriously. It's going to be part of continuing to help the faculty grow and develop, not only as researchers, because I know they can do it as researchers. We hire them because of their research chops. And I think teaching is something that, in many cases, they never really pay too much attention to. And so we can help them with that as well. What can you do is the last thing. If you get your invitation to do these end-of-term student feedback surveys, do them. Do not blow them off, because they tell us a lot. Your input really matters. And we do post the stuff online. You can Google student feedback survey, and you'll find our site. It's uta.edu/SFS. We post summaries of the first 6 questions online. We don't post comments. But you can learn about your instructors in interesting ways. Let me finish by asking if you all have any comments or questions that you might want to pose as we close things up.
So, some of the questions they have asked me, and I would like to rephrase. If a professor has the knowledge but not the talent, there's a question that some professors, they say, I'm going to give 2 A's, 4 B's, 20 C's, and so how do you deal with those professors?
These are the kinds of things I like to know about, because I don't want to intrude on a professor's right to make decisions about teaching. But I also like to think that professors are rational beings, and when somebody says, I'm going to give 2 A's, 4 B's, 20 C's, 10 D's, and 5 F's, I think that's ludicrous. That prejudges the class. It prejudges who comes in. It presumes all sorts of things. Or professors just say, well, I think the only way to grade is to grade on a normal curve. So I just assume that the talent in my classroom is normally distributed. Faulty premise. Absolutely faulty premise. And I'm going to grade accordingly. I think that's bizarre, quite frankly. While there might be some competitive element of the grading, I think it needs to come out in how the students perform and how they interact with each other, but not simply because I need to be one of the 5 students to get an A in this class. It sounds just like inappropriate assessment. It's presumptive assessment. And I think it's built on faulty premise, especially in a graduate class. My goodness. If I'm teaching an advanced seminar in my home discipline, and I've got 10 students in there, I fully expect that there's a chance I'm going to give 10 A's. Because these students are so self-selected, right? These are the ones who decided, I want to get a PhD in linguistics. I'm probably pretty good at this. I'm probably pretty committed to this. I'm willing to put in the time to practice. I'm acquiring the knowledge and skills. And if I've made clear expectations and all 10 of my students live up to those expectations, I have no problem giving 10 A's. Because I can defend that. But by the same token, I had students complain to me and say, but wait a minute, I'm a doctoral student. I should be getting an A. That's not how that works. You have to earn. And that's actually leads, thank you for saying that. If a student comes to you to talk about grades, they're complaining about grades, okay? The minute the student says, you gave me, stop everything. Stop, wait, say stop. No, you earned. Go on. Well, and then I took this test and then you gave me up. No. You earned a C on the midterm. Go on. And every single time the student talks about you giving them a grade, stop them right then and there, fix it, and change the rhetoric to you earned. It's annoying as hell to the student, but it makes an important point. Because it's really not about you casting idiosyncratic judgment on them because, as students, I get this all the time. My grade was unfair, my professor didn't like me. Does it happen sometimes? Yes, it does. Absolutely it does. But a professor's got to be a total idiot to think that if a professor grades solely on the basis of liking or not liking students, that something's not going to catch up with him at some point. And now we have somebody in our office, namely me, paying attention to weird patterns. We've never had anybody doing that before. And I don't see that as a threat, but just as a matter of course. I mean, we need to be paying attention that people are doing their jobs appropriately. So this is a tough one. These are the kinds of times where I'm happy to have people sit in my office and engage them in a lively debate. And I might not change a mind or a heart right now, but at least I can present some counter-arguments. And as you've probably been able to see, I'm not afraid of the counter-argument. I'm not afraid to play the devil's advocate. I think we have to. Because quite frankly, if we don't pay attention to how we teach, the legislature of this state will presume to do it for us. And then we will all be in trouble. Because legislators are good at lots of things, but most of them are not teachers. And they have some really sort of strange ideas about what university is like.
What's university policy on posting podcasts of lectures online? I always have podcasts for my lectures I give to my students on Blackboard and post them. But how can I post them online like, say, Berkeley does or Yale does, like their social site? You can sort of, what you do is your business in terms of your teaching. You really own those rights. Technically, if you do it in the name of the state,